boys and girls! Welcome to part 2 of our science experiment. Last week, we learned a little bit about the scientific method. The scientific method is just the way that we ask and answer a scientific question. And we learned a little bit about the different parts in the scientific method. The first one was the question. And the question for our experiment is, what liquid makes a pinto bean plant grow the tallest? That is our question. Next, we have the materials that we need for our experiment. Ours were soil, the seeds, 3 pots, a ruler, bubbly water, coffee, and milk. Then we had our hypothesis. And our hypothesis is our guess as to what the answer to our question is. So my guess, my hypothesis, was if we use coffee, then the plant will grow the tallest. What was your guys' hypothesis? Good guess, good guess. Next we have the procedure. And our procedure is just the steps that we're going to use in our experiment. The first step is plant the seeds. We did that last week. Second, we water the plants using 3 tablespoons of each liquid. We did that last week, and we're also going to do it together today. The third step to our procedure is measure the plants as they start to grow. So, what I wanted to do today was add another part to our poster board and our scientific method. We are going to observe our plants. To observe just means to look with our eyes and our nose. We can smell, we can use our senses to see what is happening to each of our plants. So, I'm going to show you each of the plants, and you guys can tell me what you observe. First, let's start with coffee. So, what do you guys notice in there? Do you see the seed right there? It kind of came up above the dirt. Is it starting to grow? Not quite, but you can see a little bit. It might be hard to see on the screen that the outer shell of the seed is starting to break open a little bit. Next, we'll look at bubbly water. Do you see in there? I see two of our beans. And you can kind of notice the same thing. They haven't started to grow quite yet, but the shell is starting to break open in these as well. And now we can check out the milk. And boys and girls, do you see anything in our milk pot? Me either. I don't see that any of the shell on the beans has started to break open for our milk. So, here I have my observations that I came up with at my house. And this is day 7. We started last Monday, and today is Monday at my house as well. And so we are going to check out what the plants look like on day 7. So here it says day 7. None of the seeds have begun to grow. And I said the outer shell is beginning to break open. So we're going to add that to our poster board now. And we will add that right here on the bottom. So now we have our question, our materials, our hypothesis, our procedure, and our observations. So, and next time that we measure together, or we observe our plants together, I think our observations might be a little bit different because I think the plants might start to grow by the time we see each other again. So, the next thing I wanted to do was measure our plants, or water our plants together. Who remembers, we talked about this just a little bit, the 3 different liquids that we used in our experiment today? Very good! Bubbly water, coffee, and milk. So, I have the 3 plants, coffee, bubbly water, and milk. And we're going to start with the coffee because I have it measured out right here first. So first we're going to water our coffee plant with 3 tablespoons again. Next we'll move on to our bubbly water. So I'm going to measure that out into 3 tablespoons right here. And then we're going to move on to our milk. And again, we need the exact same amount as the other liquids. So we'll do 3 again. Whoop. And then we'll water our milk. Now, what I wanted to do is show you how we're going to measure our plants. So, we are going to use a ruler when the time comes and they're ready to be measured, and we're going to add to our graph. And on this graph, we have our liquids on the bottom, which are milk, bubbly water, and coffee. And on the side, we have the number in inches for the height that we're going to measure. So, let me show you what we're going to do today. So, here we have milk, bubbly water, and coffee. And we're going to use these 3 markers to make our graph. Now, since none of the plants have started to grow quite yet, they are 0 inches tall. So what I'm going to do is start with milk, and we're going to draw a line right on 0 because today, on day 7, none of the plants have started to grow quite yet. So bubbly water will also be on 0, and coffee will be on 0 as well. And as they start to grow, we'll be drawing lines on each column to make our graph. I hope you guys enjoyed measuring and observing our plants today. We'll see you next week when maybe the plants have started to grow. Bye, guys.